Yesterday, I was trying to set and define my project, but I couldn't because I got a meeting, like a work meeting. So today we are going to do it, like to define the new project. As I was telling you yesterday, I won't be deciding on technology so far because I don't want to mess up the thing. Like, first of all, I would like to define what the project is, and from that we can work on which of the technology I would be using. Remember that choosing the technology depends on what you want to achieve, and like there's a lot of things that are involved when choosing a technology. You have to think in terms of maintainability and also further development, and how easy it is to develop on that. I would rather have a application. I mean, that depends on money. Everything depends on money because this is a business. So as it is a business, I mean, I would be okay if I spend 1 year developing this technology, this application, but keep in mind that in a year, maybe this application would be created uh, or will be created by another one. In 1 year, I would be spending a lot of money, and I mean, there are a lot of factors to take into consideration when deciding which path we are gonna use, and we are gonna, work to develop our application. So it is important for me. I have this philosophy, I guess. That's how I learned. That's how I was taught that it is better to have a version that is working and need improvement, but a version that you can use to get some insights. That's better than a fully finished product with no testing, like with no relationship or with not contact with a target audience. So also, in developing as fast as possible, you have to make your decisions clear and the best decision. For example, I work with WordPress, and WordPress for blogging and for that kind of content, it's better because it's already done. You only need to change how it looks and maybe connect some other thing, but that's a minimal viable product that you can use and you can see how it goes. This type of application won't use WordPress because this is not a blog. But I need to think in terms of which one is easier to develop, and obviously who is more aligned to the future. I would say that I'm gonna use React because that's better. Like in general, that would be better for me because that's a new technology that I haven't used, and developing this one using another like PHP based technology is not what I want to achieve here. So that's important because that those are decisions that we are gonna make later when developing any application. So right now we are defining yeah, we are describing the project, defining stories, like the biggest part of our sections that we need to develop in order to get a minimal viable product. and after that we can work on deciding which technology we are gonna use. So let's share with you the document that I was writing yesterday, and I couldn't finish because I needed to log off. This is we were well. The application right now it's called Ready or No because I don't have a better name yet, but we are defining the application. So for me, uh, this is this is a web application that helps you to keep track of your daily the- your daily activities, and it tells you how much of your day was dedicated to of your day was dedicated to preparation preparation what's there and and how much was dedicated to action toward your goals. So this is the first definition of my new web uh, application. As I already told you, we are using an interface so you can, well, this is important and I'm going to write it down instead of telling you and then writing it down because it would save time. So uh, let's call it flow or workflow. So we can understand how I imagine that I mean how I imagine this application would work with a real user. So the user uh, create an account, then the user. Okay, let's breaking down into step so it's easier uh, to to create later stories about this because most of the time when you use list or you uh, numerate uh, the steps, it is easier to identify the work that have to be done. So the user create an account. The user log in. The user set a new goal. The user uh, add each activity done that they related to that goal at the end of the day using AI the application uh, generates generates a report with an analysis of the daily efforts. There, the effort would be expressed in percentage. Okay, expressed. Okay, in percentage. Therefore, in percentage. How much is for preparation and how much for action? No, how much of preparation? For preparation is not correct. It's of preparation and how much of action. In definition, I'm gonna add something else, and this is important because this is how I think when I am trying to define a new project. So that's why I'm recording and sharing it with you, because uh, right now it's a this is a web application that helps you to track your daily activities. Let me check this one. Activities, and it tells you how much of your day was dedicated to preparation and how much was dedicated to action towards your goal. But why? Uh, the the reason behind is that most uh, most of us spend time staying busy and we fool ourselves thinking that being busy is putting us closer closer to our goals. Ourselves thinking that being busy is putting us close to our goals, but most of the time we are just getting caught in a loop of fake productivity. If we raise, 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 I forgot how to write raise, uh, rise, awareness, awareness of of how we are really spending our time. We could focus more on activities that leads us to our So, 1 moment, please. Most of the time, correct. With rice, correct, and leads. Okay. So this is a new or a proof way to explain the goal and I mean why we are doing this, what are the motivation behind that, so we can go on defining the application and what would be necessary to create a minimum viable product. So uh, we need create a user the user create an account, the users log in, the user set a new goal, the user add each activity done that day related to that goal, and at the end of the day, using AI, the app generate a report with an analysis of a daily effort. The effort would be expressed in percentage, how much of it is preparation, how much is action, and also the app uh, will tell you how much of these activities are not adding up to your goal. I'm gonna add another thing here in my description. Later, I'm gonna share it with ChatGPT, and it would give me a better definition and a better workflow with better understanding of it. But this is um, the raw thinking process behind it. So, um, yeah, I would like to add it like uh, uh, we are basing our analysis on the uh, philosophy. I don't know. Yeah, philosophy of MBM. No, minimum. Yeah, product. So you don't need for it to be perfect, but to be enough to go and show it to uh, your target. I would call it target to be generic. I don't know. Uh, it should or it must work with any uh, type of work of goal. Sorry, needed to all right to be perfect, whatever enough to show it the target. It must be the workflow. The app will tell you how much of these that you are not adding up to your goals. Uh, so yes, why are trying to redefine this? Let me see something here. Like okay, yes. The thing here is that I'm thinking about it because as I already told you, I'm trying to raise aware of like how much of the time is like we are just fooling ourselves thinking like well, I'm preparing and we don't step into the real action to make things happen. So that's the real thing here. It's like to keep track, to keep saying, well, yes, you are working. This working is good, but maybe we reach to a point where it's like with this you can start. You don't need like anything else right now. And well, for me, it raised another important thing is like when you are trying to do something new, you have a new goal. It is important to design ways to track if whatever you are doing is is taking you to to where you want. But not only that you need to track it somehow, but you need also to have a plan and have a timeline of how much time do you want to invest on it, because and this is important. Maybe if it is an application like this one, maybe you I could say like, well, if it's already developed and I already gathered the people able to give me some feedback and some retrospective about it, this, well, maybe the timeline is very clear. But if it is a personal project, like for example building your new brand or whatever, maybe it would take more time and maybe you would need to iterate on your original idea, and maybe the first time you won't be like able to really gather information. So you need to be clear on your objective and have a timeline that correspond. I mean, it's like don't overdo it. Don't expect that organizing and going and stepping into actions would lead you to success like the first time, like the first days. It is something that takes time. For example, I'm recording this video and I know that nobody's watching the video, and that's okay because what I want right now is to step into action so I can have and I can build a better personal brand. So and as you can see, I decided to do it with the minimal resources needed. Like I needed a camera and I needed my knowledge and I needed like I don't need any more than that. So that's why I decided maybe in some month you will watch me like with a better setup, with a better camera, with a better better dressed, whatever. Uh, at that point, I would be uh, clearer of what it takes to improve or what the next step. But right now, the important thing is to step up and show up to your goal. So um, I'm gonna share this information with ChatGPT and let's see how it goes. I think this is as a base of, for me to start working. It's okay. I know that ChatGPT will fill the gaps between like, well, you need for this, you need that, and this activity. So this is the next step that we are gonna take. I'm gonna share with you my ChatGPT account so we can start working with that. Um, right now, I'm gonna tell ChatGPT my idea. I don't know if ChatGPT is able to hear me out. I don't think so. So I'm gonna write it down. Hi, Chat. I have this idea for a web application. I am sharing with you uh, the basic description and how it will flow. What I need from from you is to improve the description, add important steps missing, but keep in mind that I want to build only a minimum viable product so it can be tested. Let me paste it here. Yeah, let's see how it goes with this first message, and maybe I could come up with another prompt later. But let's see how ChatGPT answered to this request. So let's read it. Ready or not, the web application help understand whether the daily activity are moving them closer to the goal, simply keeping them busy. Or the user record an activity they complete during the day and connect them to a specific goal. Preparation. Okay. Okay. Perfect. So as you can see, I'm gonna copy that into my file because that's gonna help us to define steps. Next steps. So now that we already have this, we are gonna do this because maybe we can like review it later. Uh, yeah, great. Um, Let me chat with ChatGPT. One moment. But I'm gonna explain you what I want to do. I want to tell ChatGPT that we haven't decided on technology yet, and that I want the first user stories so we can develop, or maybe now that we are developing this as it is right now, because I want to keep the gears moving. So uh, I'm gonna ask ChatGPT to create a full plan to develop this application using user stories, so we can work on that like in an easier way. So that's what I'm gonna tell ChatGPT. And tomorrow we could decide on technology and set up everything that we need uh, to work with that technology, and maybe on Monday start working with the development. So that's what I'm gonna uh, ask ChatGPT. Great. I haven't decided on tech yet, but I need you to break the work into user stories, and later and task and subtask, so I can load it to a Jira Kanban, so I can start developing developing the application. Deliver it as a spreadsheet. So what I ask ChatGPT, as you already know, is that I want a full um, MVP project into Jira Ready backlog, so we can start developing. Remember, I am developing this application like for real, but we cannot start developing this application without deciding on technology, because obviously technology is important to see if we are going to use PHP, or if we are going to use React. And if we are going to use React, we need to uh, understand and find where are going to host our database, where we are going to host our application, how we are going to do the continuous integration and continuous delivery part, and that would be done obviously with ChatGPT. And I mean, in general, we are missing that specific point. Uh, so yeah, it is important. I wouldn't say that I'm gonna show you how I added all this information to Jira, but I would like you to see what ChatGPT generated. Uh, so that's how we are gonna I mean, work from now on. Like, I'm gonna only show you the file created by ChatGPT, maybe analyze it a little bit, and then uh, I would load that information into Jira, because I don't think that's necessary. Maybe I can show one or two of how that could be done, but in general, I think that's no. I mean, it doesn't. It is not adding value to this stream, so I won't be doing that on stream. But as you can see, and this is part of what I want to achieve here, you can, if you have the right mind and you have the right information, you could build a lot of things using AI, and using, I mean, whatever you are using. But it is important that you know exactly what are you doing, and what are the tools available out there, because otherwise you would be like there's a term that is popular now, that is vibe coding. And vibe coding, I don't think I would be vibe coding here, because it's not like I don't know what I want to achieve. I know what I want to achieve, and I know how to achieve it. I'm gonna use AI to do the mechanical, the already known part of it. But that's the difference between being a bad coder and understanding and using the tools to simplify uh, the project and the activities, and save time. So yeah, there's a big difference between those terms, and it is important to to acknowledge then. Yes, I was it was needed to say how we are gonna work with this project. Um, in general, well, I think this is just a matter of time. I mean, only ChatGPT is creating the task and the stories, and we are gonna uh, then load that information in Jira. The difference between this format of work and the real format is that today I'm the only one that is working on the project, and if this application would be created by another, like a formal thing, like a multidisciplinary team, it would take uh, we would have a timeline, and we would, depending on the technology that we are using, not the technology, the methodology that we are using, uh, we we could coordinate and these activities, this project, uh, um, differently. Like, for example, if we are gonna use Scrum, then we take all the backlog, and we uh, measure how much work can be done by this specific team on a specific timeline, and according to that we can forecast how much it would take to develop the all the activities, all the tasks. Remember that we are basing this application and this development on a minimum viable product, and the minimum viable product depends on the stakeholders or who is in charge of that kind of decision. And most of the time we have a project owner that takes charge of it, like is foreseeing uh, what is being developed. And from that, project management internally, the one that is managing the team can work with the team and see how it is, how much time it's gonna take. Most of the time, when we are using Scrum, it's not like we have a fixed timeline, like a fixed deadline. We only work in these short periods of time, so we add new value to the product. But it's like I tell you, even if we work with a very specific incremental um, uh, period of time, or uh, I was trying to say sprints, like we increment value. Even with that, if you have in mind, uh, it's like you need the first minimal viable product to have a specific set of characteristics and features. So even working with Scrum, and we usually don't have like a deadline for the whole project, we could forecast how much it would take to deliver the minimal viable product. Obviously, it would depend on how the teams react to to the methodology, and how good it works. And talking about that, to measure how good a team is doing depends on the team itself. You can have like a historical record of how good a team perform doing the same type of work, and in that case the forecast would be more accurate. But if this is a new application with a new set of technology, with a new team, The first sprint, remember that we are talking about Scrum. The first sprints would be a little bit uncertain because we don't know how they work and we don't know how much time it would take to create to develop all the things that we need to develop, and that is true also for any other type of work that we are doing. If we have a historical record of how we performance, it would be better to guess or to forecast how much time it would take, like, and we could define a more precise deadline. Otherwise, we are working on with experimental data, and when we are working with experimental data, we don't know for sure how much it would take. That's why we uh, like we repurpose, maybe we rethink about the final product and how we are going to approach the solution in order to get to that project, because as I already told you at the beginning of this live, uh, we cannot take forever to create a minimum viable product. So it's like we are always trying to find balance between what we want to deliver, the quality of it, and the time, and obviously all kind of resources. Because at the end of the day, if we forecast that this project would take 1 month, then we prepare and we budget for a month. But if at the end of the day it would take 3 months, that's triple the budget that we thought at the beginning. And when it comes to money, a project could be a good idea for a specific deadline, and so it could be a very bad idea and a bad investment if it would take way more time than that. Uh, we are talking about, like, everything is interconnected, like all areas in a company, in a business, are interconnected. So you cannot be a developer. Well, you can be a developer that doesn't know how the business work, but you can do that because if you are not interested in that. But if you are going to offer your knowledge to a company, you need to understand that it is not a matter of how good you can do it. Yes, you have to deliver with quality, but what is the actual optimized point where the time consumed, the money assigned, and the real result, they all met. So uh, as I told you, it's not like there are like development is separated from the whole thing. It's like we are integrated, but most of the time we are not aware that some of the things and the decisions are made because it needs to be profitable and not only an example of the best practice and the best technology used in the industry, like cutting edge technology. Sometimes we need to live in the reality, and the reality is that we have a budget and we have a timeline, and we need to do our best to deliver the best quality possible under those circumstances. So it seems like ChatGPT already gave me the backlog, so I'm gonna check it, and this that would be the end of this live. But let's check it together. I'm gonna, yeah, I don't know if I can. Okay, yes, I have a way to download it, but as you can see, we have all this information here. Uh, I don't know. Well, I'm gonna upload this on Drive because it seems like there are a lot of tabs inside this file, and we are not able to preview them all. Um, Let me add it to this folder. I know that you are not watching it, but that's not like really important right now. I'm just uploading the ready or no file here, and now I'm gonna share it with you. Share this tab instead. Great. As you can see, ChatGPT created this, and this is like the README, like the general information, and this is the backlog. That's the important thing. And let's see what is the first. Uh, okay, yeah, those are, and this is great because those are activities that are not necessary for our MVP, but they are necessary. Like those are feature, and those are, yeah, feature that needs to be developed after MVP, and you can see that this is marked as post BMP here. So this is a summary of it, like the most important thing. And this is what we really need because this is how we are going to develop our application. For example, let's do let's read the first one just to have a basic knowledge of what we are building. The first one is product and technical foundation. Uh, and this is like the user story, the scope, and the acceptance criteria. We can edit that. I'm gonna do that when we are. Indeed, I won't be adding this the whole thing to Jira because that would take me like a lot of time. I'm gonna uh, put that into Jira as we develop the application. So um, yeah, and this is great because these epics are part of what we need to do. For example, select the minimal, the MVP, sorry, let's do it, MVP technology stack, that's important. Uh, yeah, well, for example, just to this point, uh, this is how I'm gonna actually build information, the application. All these, like from one for whatever, from one to 33, all of that is planning on the actual work, like from account access. This is the epic that start the real coding part. So this is important because sometimes we think like, well, we can start working on an application and I'm gonna create the authentication form and whatever. Yes, but you need to plan it before. Maybe some of it it's not like crucial, and we can develop things like in parallel, but it's important to do it. Like the first thing that we need to do in order to start working with development uh, is to define like objective and why we're doing this for, in technology and all that stuff. And but yes, I just wanted to show you uh, the the epic, the story for each part that are the MVP feature itself. Like, and we are developing the whole thing. Like, there's, as you can see, there's a lot of things to create. Uh, Obviously, we are not creating the whole thing with. I mean, we are coding it. We are. coding it with ChatGPT just to to develop something like to develop it faster. And also, this is not the only project that I have in mind. Remember that I am also upgrading my website. So yes, we are like this is something that I'm gonna do, and I'm gonna record how to do it. But also, I have my website, and I am gonna develop it. So I think this is all for today. I promised to myself that I would be um, streaming 1 hour because that means that I would be uh, spending, well, investing. That I like it more invested 1 hour of my time doing this, and well, that's my personal goal, and that I already did that. So this is great. I would be, share going live. I think tomorrow again, and we'll see if I've complete like this part of I can work on my website, but I wanted to create a plan. We already created the plan. We already have all the backlog, and now we can start working on our application. So this is the whole thing for today. Thank you for watching, and let's see you. Well, I'm not seeing you. You will see me again in another streaming. Bye.